We are back. I'm your host, Dave, a 10-year intellectual property attorney dealing with everything from trademarks, patents, copyrights, and trade secrets. I actually miss you guys. I haven't done one of these in a while. I was out in Invest Fest. Be on the lookout for that highlight video of my experience in Invest Fest down in Atlanta. That's going to come out real soon. And I think you guys are going to be surprised as it relates to kind of talking to people about intellectual property and then protecting their intellectual property. Again, so stay tuned to that. But here we have a fresh off the press from Crayola. Now, this is something different that you guys are typically used to, and Crayola actually trademarking a smell. Now, a lot of people, when they think of trademarks, they think of logos, they think of short phrases, they think of a word such as like Apple or the Golden Arches with McDonald's or Just Do It with Nike, but they typically don't think of trademarking or protecting a trademark and extending that to sounds. But I'll be the first to tell you guys that a sound, smells, what else do we have here? Sound, smells, colors, all that stuff is protectable. The whole point of it, and we're going to take a look at this article that's kind of talking about Crayola trademarking a smell. But going back to what I was saying before, as relates to smell, as relates to sound, as relates to color, it has to be, number one, distinct. That's with all trademarks, the big thing with trademarks is, has it acquired distinctiveness or is it distinct? And to the extent that you can check yes on the fact that it is a distinct mark, you're probably going to be able to get a trademark on it. So when you think of, again, UPS, they have a trademark on the color brown for, again, transportation. So anytime if you had a company and they're trying to use brown in any sense for transportation, you can bet your bottom dollar that UPS is going to hit them with a trademark lawsuit because again, UPS has an actual trademark on the color. And yeah, we all know that they have the famous brown trademarks the famous brown trucks rather that you see every time you see UPS truck. They do have actual trademark on the actual color brown. Another one as relates to the sound that I do want to actually play for you guys and let me know if you can, again, I talked about trademark having to be distinct. Let me know if you know what sound this is coming from. I actually want to see if you guys, let me see. Here we go. Right here. So I'm going to play and you guys have to let me know, do you recognize this sound that has a trademark on it? I'm going to play it again for you guys in the back. Hopefully I don't get dinged with an IP. Do you know that sound? I'll tell you, that's the MGM lion before Hollywood Studios. A lot of times they kind of play a picture. You have that lion that's roaring. That's the sound of the lion that's roaring, which MGM Hollywood Studios has the actual trademark, has that sound protected. And again, we all know that that's a distinct quality or distinct thing to Hollywood Studios that nobody else is doing. So the sound is distinct. And as a result of the sound being distinct, Hollywood Studios, MGM, was able to protect that sound. And again, last but not least, a smell. Now we're going to take a look at this article here and let's see what all Crayola had to go through to actually get this. Let's see here. We got the wrong one. Get their smell trademark. Here we go, right here. So I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. We're gonna go through this article and again, let me know in the comment section. Do you have an actual, for those of you who have businesses who have IP that's protected, do you have a trademark on something that's other than a logo or a short phrase or a word? We know those are a little bit more common trademarks. And I think this is actually a pretty cool video that I'm doing because it just goes to show you how far that this trademark, that this intellectual property stretches. We're talking about trademarking colors, in a sense, with respect to UPS. We're talking about trademarking sounds with respect to the lion roaring with MGM. And in this case, we're talking about protecting actual smells from Crayola. Let's take a look at it. This is from Financial Post. So shout out to them. You may find yourself smelling crayons in the aisle of stores soon. If Crayola's chief executive, Pete Ruggiero, has his way. So it seems like that's the CEO, Pete. Shout out to Pete. In July, so again, this is just what, last month, the USPTO office issued a trademark to the arts and crafts giant for the smell of its crayons. The waxy scent of a childhood spent trying to color within the lines. While it's too soon for this back to school season, a CEO of Crayola imagines one day pumping it through the aisle of the retailers, triggering nostalgia while shoppers are browsing and hopefully buying more crayons. Crayola, a unit of Hallmark, which I did not know that, so that's something that I learned while reading this article. First applied for the trademark in 2018 and was initially turned down less than a year later, but won its bid on appeal. During the process, the company shared examples of its crowns as well as competitors to verify the distinctiveness. So again, I told you that word distinctive. If you have, again, a color, a sound, a smell, and it's distinctive, you are probably going to be good with being able to get a trademark, especially if it's helping, again, because we all know what does trademarks do. They help the consumers identify the goods, the source of the business. So when you see that lion roaring, you know that's a MGM picture. When you see that brown truck come around the corner, you know that's a UPS truck before even seeing the word UPS. And now, in Crayola's case, when you smell this smell, seems like what they're saying, you're going to know that that's a Crayola crown. And again, to the extent that those things are doing that, then you can protect your trademark for sound, for smell, and for color. Now, I think, because I don't love the shop, but a lot of times when you go into the malls, I'm in Michigan, the great state of Michigan here, but I'm pretty sure this is the same thing in other states as well. One of the first things you see or you smell when you go into the mall is those pretzels, those cinnamon pretzels from what, Aunt Annie, or those different companies. And I haven't checked on it, but I'll be interested on whether or not they have a actual smell or trademark on the actual smell for those kind of cinnamon pretzels, those cinnamon, just the food. Because again, that's a very, in my opinion, at least a distinct smell when you walk into the mall and you're like, oh man, they got Aunt Annie's in here just from the smell. I don't even see the Aunt Annie sound, but kind of walking to the mall, especially you're nearby Aunt Annie's, that smell is so distinct that you're like, oh yeah, they got Aunt Annie's in here. So I'm actually interested in whether or not Aunt Annie's actually trademarked or protected that smell, because that's something that, at least in my opinion, is distinct. But another thing that the USPTO said, or this article said, is it was initially turned down. We're in 2024. It said that they initially filed for the trademark in 2018. So you're saying from 2018 to 2014, to 2024, that's 6 years. So what happened was, typically trademark applications between 6 months and a year, they'll get picked up. So it seems like this one got picked up by an examiner at the USPTO and they denied the application. However, Crayola was not satisfied. They didn't give up. They kept going. And I would probably tell you 100 times out of 100, not 100 times out of 100, say 90 times out of 100, if the USPTO and the examiners get a trademark application, it's for sound, it's for smell, it's for color, the examiners are not typically used to prosecuting those applications. So you're probably going to get a rejection that first time around. But if you are certain and you have the data, the facts to be able to back it up, to say, hey man, no, this color is distinct, especially as it relates to my business and what's out there. This sound is distinct, especially as it relates to my business compared to what's out there. This smell is unique, especially as it relates to my business and what's out there. Let's take a look at the article. What they're saying, during the process when they went on appeal, the company shared examples of its own crowns as well as competitors to verify the distinctiveness. So you want to make sure all this stuff, you have the facts, you have the data, you have all your apples in a row, your ducks in a row, if you will, where they're saying, hey, no, you're saying that you're going to reject my application because for whatever reason, because you're saying it's not distinct. No, smell our crown, smell what's the competitors that's out there. This is the distinct smell. And it went through the appeal. A lot of times, or sometimes, you have to go through the appeal process. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be able to get protected. Man, the men and women at the USPTO that are examiners, that are examining the application, they are human. And sometimes humans not only make mistakes, but sometimes it has to get, kind of verified by their superiors. So when you're doing something that's very unique as it relates to smells, colors, and sounds, it's probably going to have to be appealed to the board if it doesn't go through the first time around. But to the extent that it does, heck, before you even file the trademark application, make sure you have all your ducks in a row, all your data, all your facts, so that if it does get appealed, you are good to go. So let's continue with this article and finish it off. It's a slightly earthy soap with pungent leather-like clay undertones. I mean, that's a mouthful there. I'm gonna have to check it out and just smell it for myself. It seems like it kind of smells slightly earthy. It has a kind of leather-like smell to it and some clay undertones. So again, there's a lot going on there, but apparently that is the smell that they have protected. And again, some other cool facts about Crayola. Almost half of their annual sales come during the weeks between July and Labor Day, which, as we all know, is when kids are headed back to school. That's crazy to account for half of your sales, but doesn't it makes sense. Crayola sells 30% of its products online at places like Amazon. Okay, that would make sense, but 30% of the sales are coming from online, with the other 70% coming from the brick and mortar, including Walmart, Target, and Staples. I can see those three being big platforms for Crayola to sell its products. Crayola ranks number 1 in the U.S. One in U.S. sales in the coloring category, which includes crayons and color pencils. That makes sense as well. So again, it seems like the CEO, Pete, is talking about they've been talking about doing it for years, and they essentially just pulled the plug on it. So what do you guys think? Hey, let me know in the comment section if you have a trademark that's not that's out of the ordinary. And I would say these are out of the ordinary trademarks, but they are protectable. But if to the extent that you have a trademark for a smell, for a sound, for a color, let me know in the comment section and let me know what the actual trademark is for. Or what's the smell? What type of smell is it? We talked about Crayola. Their smell is dealing with what? Earthy soap with pungent leather-like clay undertone. So that's there. Obviously, we talked about UPS with the color brown that they have trademarked for their transportation services that they're providing. We also talked about the lion, a roaring of a lion, protecting MGM in the studio. So let me know to the extent that you have something that's a trademark that's not a logo or short phrase or a word. Drop it in the comment section. I'll be interested in knowing what it is. And again, to the extent that you like this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button and check out the content. We're coming through with some big things going forward, and we're just getting started here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, take care.